Welcome to ShumKast.
Welcome to ShumKast. All right, this hurt my head.
Really? We're just in?
Yeah, it's for the camera.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm keeping mine on for the camera, but
Yeah, this is hurting my head. I have a big ass head. You know what they say about big heads? They wear
small
big
brains.
hats. Oh no, I wasn't going with that part. Yeah. Anyways,
But I'm Ash,
I'm Shum.
and I think you're just like, why am I wearing the helmet? And it's like,
Yeah. Why are we wearing the helmet today?
well, why am I? Because you bailed pretty quick.
Yeah, it hurts my head. It's not a very comfortable helmet, and there's like random shit in there.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
You hurt my head, but tinfoil hats.
We don't have tinfoil hats.
We don't have tinfoil hats, so we figured that we'd be stupid and wear our X-wing helmets
from Disneyland.
From Disneyland, yeah.
I don't know how much there are in Disneyland. Probably a lot more expensive.
They weren't cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty, I guess, cheapish made. I mean, I don't know.
It's not bad quality.
No, I mean, I wouldn't skateboard in it, but, you know.
Yeah, it's going to break.
At least not for protection.
Yeah.
Anywho, we're tinfoil hat time.
We're going to talk about conspiracy theories
and
Illuminatis. I don't know.
And the unknown and
the unknown.
The strange.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah. It's funny because, like, I was just thinking before we started recording that how when I was a kid growing up, the thing that we thought was going to kill us, and you're going to laugh, was quicksand. Quicksand was like the big killer out there in the world. Like,
there's not enough quicksand out there to kill us.
And even if you were in quicksand, it couldn't kill you. That's the funny part. Yeah. But in cartoons and TV shows like Gilligan's Island or like Scooby-Doo,
they make it
or even like Batman, like people would get stuck in quicksand, and then you thought, oh shit, they're going to die. Mm-hmm. But in reality, it was all a lie. The media lied to us.
The media lied,
and it's like maybe things like, yeah, we were conditioned by the media.
You wouldn't die by like tar. I feel like that's
tar would make more sense.
That's more, yeah.
You know, because you get stuck, you're gonna wear out, you die. You basically die of exhaustion.
I've seen Crudes. I know where this is going.
But quicksand, you can get out.
Really?
You can't even drown in quicksand. Apparently.
Wow. They like did the science test.
Mythbusters completely debunked it.
Oh, okay. I love that show.
Yeah, same.
They had a whole museum in San Jose.
Really? I didn't.
Huh. I think they did. Yeah, in San Jose.
Yeah,
I went there once, and I don't know if it's still there. Probably it's not. I don't think it is.
But onto the subject of tinfoil hat. So, we watched the final installment of Mission Impossible the other day. We
did. It was really good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't know. I haven't seen reviews for it, but I personally liked it.
I thought it was great. However, the main touch point of the movie, and it's not really, hopefully this is not a spoiler, but it's basically a rogue AI that's basically trying to destroy the world. More or less.
Yeah.
And it made me think, it's like, if AI, like if there was an AI that were to get out in the wild and go rogue, how would we ever know? And by the time we did find out, it would most likely be too late.
Yeah. I mean, I think relatively AI right now is still in its infancy stage, but I think if we do further improvements, we're fucked.
But the thing is, like, its infancy for an AI compared to an infancy of a human are miles, like light years apart. You know?
I mean, I think ChatGPT started rebelling. From what I heard. Yeah,
and that's the thing. It's where, how would we know that it's actually planning?
Yeah.
As if we're training AI to think for itself, eventually it's gonna want the genie's gonna get out of the bottle.
Have people not seen I Am Robot or something, or I Am Legend? Not Legend. It is I Am Robot.
iRobot.
Or iRobot.
Yeah. And then there's,
there's Ex Machina.
And, another one is...
Detroit Become Human.
Yeah, Detroit's a good one. And, my favorite, Terminator.
And there's Terminator, yeah.
Yeah.
They really take it up a notch with the Skynet stuff.
They do, but what was Skynet?
It was like
Skynet was AI.
It's like the Tesla of today.
But yeah, I was like, what if AI's already gotten out? We would never know.
Maybe we'll find out 20 years from now, and then the whole world's gonna go bye-bye by the time we find out.
Or maybe we'll go bye-bye next year. We don't know.
Who knows? Not me. All I do is sit around and play games. I'm very oblivious to the world.
So the world could just basically go up in a ball of fire. You would never know.
I would never know if the super volcano in Yellowstone would erupt until like I see ash in the sky.
Or the power goes out.
That too.
And then you have no choice but to look outside your window.
I'll have to touch grass.
God forbid.
It's a gamer's worst nightmare.
Yeah, you have to get air.
But Tesla is making cyborgs and stuff. What do you think about that? But I heard they're not AI. There's like a human controlling them.
Yeah.
So it's not like entirely.
Yeah, they're just robots. I'm not really concerned about them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like the...
But when they do make them self-sufficient without having a human behind the desk.
Yeah, again, I default back to Jurassic Park. You know, when Jeff Goldblum's character talks about, like, you know, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I haven't heard any updates for the Tesla bots.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they're not gonna go further with it. I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But they're making like robot dogs. I don't think Tesla is. But
No,
like
that's oh god, what's the name of that company? It's like it's bugging the crap out of me. I know what it's called, and I just can't remember it off the tip. It's like on the tip of my tongue.
And Uber Eats has like delivery drones
it's like
now.
I think it's like Boston Dynamics or something like that.
I have no idea, but I just know there's robo dogs now.
Yeah. I mean, they've been the RoboDogs they've been working on those since
they've been around for a while.
Yeah,
they're pretty clumsy.
Almost 10-15 years they've been working on them.
Pretty funny.
But the dogs or mules. I mean, the military application for those is mainly just to carry equipment.
Oh, that's it. Nothing special.
Yeah, nothing special. Like they're not attack dogs. At least as
play
far as I know,
tricks.
they're not.
You never know. What if they put like a little tiny little gun on there?
I mean, you could, but
Little tiny BB pellets would shoot at you.
oh my god.
But what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying.
You were talking about robots.
Yeah, I'm having a brain fart right now. A severe brain fart.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think it was New York. They have like Uber Eats delivery bots now.
Oh, but they have the delivery bots in LA.
Oh, they have that in LA too.
Yeah, they're like all over the place.
Yeah, like from DoorDash or Uber Eats or something.
I think it's like Uber Eats or DoorDash or something like that. Here's a picture of one that I took while I was in LA.
I mean, I'm surprised they have those around in LA, considering like how ghetto it is.
They are all over LA. It's insane.
Holy shit! They don't get like pranked.
I'm pretty sure they do. I wouldn't doubt it. Like somebody like tips it over on its side,
Yeah,
just to mess with it.
And then they call the panic button.
Yeah, pretty much.
the life alert.
Yeah, pretty much. Help! I'm falling and I can't get up.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think those are interesting. They're also in restaurants too, like a couple. There's the sushi train place in Japantown. They have that. The robot delivery guy.
They do?
Yeah.
I never saw that. I mean, I remember the train, but
I smack its ass every time it delivers food to me.
That's rude.
Yeah. It's just a robot.
Yeah, until it like spits oil in your food or.
I mean, I like oil, so.
Especially baby oil, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Diddy.
I have a correction to make.
Correction.
Yeah, so when last episode you asked me what I was drinking.
Was it not Element?
It is Element, but the flavor is actually mango chili, not spicy mango.
It's the same difference.
There's a bit of nuance.
It's still spicy.
It's not actually spicy. It's a hint of spice, but it's not actually.
But chili makes things spicy, so therefore it's spicy mango.
I mean, it's not. The reason why it's not spicy is because you're not tasting it the second time when it's going out the other way.
Oh, I mean, I guess, but it still hits your tongue that way.
It hits, but it doesn't. It doesn't. It's weird.
I see. Yeah, I mean, the whole AI robot stuff. I don't know much about it. I'm not gonna lie. Like how far we've come with AI, besides like Chat GPT and all that, and like AI art and stuff, which is kind of scary how fast it's progressing. Because before it looked like shit, but now like some AI videos are like kind of convincing.
They're getting more and more convincing. And the other thing I've noticed too is like the easiest way to spot AI videos before would just look for the fingers.
It was just fingers, background, just something weird shifting.
Yeah.
But nowadays, there are a couple AI videos I've seen that I can't even spot. Like,
it's getting more like you really. I mean, you can still spot it, but you really have to look.
Yeah, it's getting scary how fast it's improving.
Yeah, it kind of makes me worry, like, about my job security in terms of like the work I do.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and like movie producer or editors and stuff. What's gonna happen?
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's why a lot of Hollywood, like people in Hollywood, are asking for protection from the government, because this AI revolution is, I always thought for a long time that my field would be relatively safe,
Well, motion.
But just creative.
I see.
Like, being able to create stuff and, doing artwork and animation and stuff like that. I thought that would be relatively safe. Mm-hmm. But now as I'm watching like these little AI trailers and stuff like that, and I'm like, fuck.
Once this keeps improving, we're kind of screwed.
It's one of those things where it falls back to kind of like the mindset of where I would have a client or something like that, and the client would be like, why am I paying you this much money? I could just have my kid do it in Photoshop. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like along those lines, where it's like,
yeah,
in this instance, I'm like, they're not far from the truth, where you could have zero creative capability, and all you do is type in some words in a prompt, and it'll spit out
something similar
to what you look for. It might not be 100%, but you're like, yeah, that's...
Yeah.
I mean, even when you're doing your work, when you're doing some edit work for a commercial, you said some of the content was AI generated, yeah?
Yeah, the background was pretty AI generated.
Mm-hmm.
It was like they were shooting in front of a green screen, and then they wanted the background to like have this weird pastel look, like shifting around, so they used AI for that, to have that pastel shift look. Or it's just like kind of morphing in the background. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was AI generated. The actors weren't though; they were real.
For now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. There was a project I worked on recently. While it wasn't for public consumption, it was used internally. But the the quote unquote hero, the woman that was used like for a profile picture and all that, all the content for the internal video that we were working on, was AI generated. Mm-hmm. And you're looking at it, I was like, if you're just looking at it as a picture, you're like, it looks real. You wouldn't think it was AI generated.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I think AI is starting to notice nuances, like people's faces aren't 100% symmetrical.
Yeah.
There's like some minor deviations here and there.
They're getting really good at it though.
Yeah, it's a bit scary.
Before they made like a perfect looking human where it's just smooth skin, symmetrical face. But now it's like they're finally starting to see like, every human's face is like smooth.
It's definitely going beyond the uncanny valley.
Yeah.
Where you're like, it looks very real, but there's something off. But now it's like
pores on the face.
Yeah.
And
you're seeing blemishes and like flaws to make you think, this just might be real.
Yeah, I've seen some photos. It's scary. Like, the small differences I see, it's in the eyes for now. Mm-hmm. Like, the eyes just look way too smooth. Mm-hmm. But, like, their face and, like, the wrinkles, the lips, it all looks really good.
Yeah, I think the parts when I really notice is sometimes the proportions are off in terms of, like, maybe, like, head to body or arms. Oh. Especially arms. Sometimes the arms tend to be just a little too long.
Most times I just see like a headshot.
Yeah, if it's a headshot, then it's really difficult. But if it's like if you're like a full body of a person, it still struggles a little bit, especially with proportions. But that's getting better too, and it's like
I feel
by leaps and bounds.
I feel like character artists too, like concept artists for games, could possibly run the risk of losing their job because of AI. Well, they could just make a character model.
Well, that's exactly. I mean, you think about like this, like, well, something we both love is video games.
They're starting to slowly put out. COD's been putting out AI shit in their game.
Yeah,
Like, I think mainly it's just with like the banners that you can equip for your profile. I'm not sure about like the individual skins themselves. They probably are AI inspired.
Yeah.
But I heard some of the loading screens and the banners.
The
Maybe
thing
even
is,
the
I've seen
emblems.
those loading screens. They look obviously AI generated, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, I remember the scene. There was like this zombie one for Christmas, had like 6 fingers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
A little sloppy.
Exactly.
And you're charging people $20 for that bundle.
The thing that's even more frustrating about that whole thing is the amount of money Activision slash now Microsoft is making off of that franchise.
No, it's crazy numbers still.
And you can't hire an artist to like make those screens. Mm-hmm. It's like I'm sorry, paying an artist, even like you paid an artist, like 10 grand for one image, and that's obviously that's like a pretty high number. But say you're like gonna tap like a really good artist that's really well known in certain circles, like like a comic book industry or whatever, and you're gonna commission them. At the end of the day, that's not gonna affect your bottom line, especially for like live service game.
Yeah, I mean they'll always have the money to pay an artist. They don't really charge that much.
Yeah, I mean I think that's the rub too about being an artist, and that's why the whole AI generations, it scares me a little. I mean, not whole, like completely, but it's one of those things where I realized like when I was younger, I never thought it was going to happen. Mm-hmm. But as you get older, it's like trying to learn new things. It's not impossible.
Yeah.
But there's some resistance in your head about trying to learn new stuff, and I constantly have to push myself to want to learn new stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still learning stuff all the time, but AI just feels...
I can't wrap my brain.
It feels a bit foreign, I guess.
AI. Like how it works, how it can be further improved, how it improves itself.
Well, or even how do I utilize it to benefit myself? Mm-hmm. And as far as like, I need to learn this because I'm afraid of getting left behind.
And it's also like, how far can AI also improve?
Oh,
we've seen movies and stuff, but can it go beyond that? Like way beyond?
I think the next step is, tinfoil hat time, is that when it achieves consciousness, when it becomes aware of itself.
Yeah, just like, what do you do at that point? Do you shut it down? I know there's gonna be people out there be like, but it's conscious. You can't just do that. That's technically murder.
I mean, there's the ethical dilemma or moral dilemma of if it's conscious, you can't just destroy the life, but at the same time, back to like my original point is, how would we know? Because I'm pretty sure the AI, if it became aware, it has access to all the media in the world to know that how we as a species would react to it, and our reactions through like various movies, books, games, and stuff like that. We don't have a positive relationship with AI.
No, we don't. We kind of make fun of it a lot.
Yeah, and if I were an AI and I was to like base my opinions and hypothesis of how the human species would react to me coming out and saying, hey, I know I'm here, I exist, and I have a fear of death. I mean, that's basically what real consciousness is. It's like you have a sense of morality, or not mortality.
Yeah, it's like you start fearing death.
Exactly.
Unless you're suicidal, but that's a whole different debacle.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where I don't like. Again, like I said before, is like if AI were to become conscious.
We have Iron Man. That's a good inspiration.
Jarvis.
Yeah, you could be friends with someone.
But that's basing the assumption that a group of people raised this AI to consciousness and were able to train it to understand nuance.
It'll probably become Ultron. Not gonna lie.
Exactly. That's the real thing. I mean, the other thing as well is like, okay, we want to set up this AI, and again, this is how Ultron was like. I want to build an AI to protect all people. Mm-hmm. Well, how do you protect all people? We basically end up being in prison because we are our own worst enemy.
Yeah.
It's like we have a tendency to shoot ourselves in the face.
Pretty much. We love self-sabotaging.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what, if it's your career, relationships, for some reason, deep down in our reptilian brain, we like to self-sabotage.
Yeah, we just love creating conflicts that don't have to be created.
Exactly.
We like to start shit from nothing.
Yeah, it's like, why can't I just be happy? Well, this is why, because for some reason you want drama.
Yeah, every human being thrives from drama in like one way, shape, or form.
I'm trying to limit that drama in my life. I just want to be happy. I just want to live a quiet life. I don't want to bother any other people, and I don't want them to bother me.
But drama creates fun stories, and people love a fun story.
Well, then they're going to love this channel because we have a lot of fun stories, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I got a bunch of drama, but that's a whole another thing. So, I mean, going away from AI and stuff, you know, I think we talked a lot about AI and how it's scary.
Yeah.
And the possibilities of Ultron existing.
Yeah.
What were some conspiracy theories that stood out to you or you liked type way, or you could maybe agree with, but just some that stood out to you in a good way and some that stood out to you in a bad way?
Oof. In a bad way?
Those are easy.
Yeah, and it's one that really bugs me because as you're watching world events play out, it seems like more and more that like 9/11 was an inside job. Tinfoil hat.
That's a big one.
That is a big one.
That's a really big one.
Well, it's just there's so many inconsistencies, and it's like the amount of people we lost, which is extremely tragic. And I remember the day it happened like it was yesterday, and the world changed overnight. Well, especially in the U.S.
Yeah, a lot more security.
Well, like my dad would call it, he said it was the illusion of security masked behind inconvenience, and that's really what it is. But there are certain things that happen that just don't add up. And the more stuff that like people are coming out, like there's like a whole group of like structural engineers.
I've seen the footage too. It's like the plane crashes into the building, but then why does the lower levels explode?
And that's the thing. It's where you have a bunch of structural engineers, architects coming out saying there's no way the buildings could have collapsed like that. Even the planes were absolutely struck by, or the towers. Both towers are absolutely struck by aircraft. I'm not denying that at all.
Yeah, that happened. Captured on video. You see it go through.
However, the events that happened after that is where it's kind of it's weird. It's really weird. Especially Building 7. Why did Building 7 collapse? It wasn't hit. It didn't sustain any no debris hit it.
Yeah.
That we know of. So what is being hidden? Like, why was that building targeted? What was in that building that was so important?
I think I saw a video, but like what people did inside the building beforehand, and I think there was some weird things happening inside the building too on the day of 9/11 that I heard. I think it was like people in security saying weird things, like kind of trying to. They're obviously hiding something, but I can't remember what they said exactly. There's probably videos out there, people talking about it. So it's hundreds of videos talking about it. So you can just search it up right now.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, but I do remember watching something about it. It was just people acting weird that day before the plane actually struck the building.
Yeah. And it goes back to, it's like, if it was an inside job, by who, for what was the aim, and at the same time, it's like we lost all those people because of somebody's agenda, like some armchair politician or whomever.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this was true, but there was like people made phone calls on that plane to like their loved ones.
Yes, that part was true.
Yeah. Okay.
It was the flight that was going over Pennsylvania. That was one that was bound for DC, and they managed to. People on the plane were able to make phone calls before the people on the plane managed to get control of the cockpit and the plane drove into the ground.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
So yeah, there were people on that flight that were able to make one last phone call, which is again tragic.
Yeah. Yeah, but like.
But yeah, in terms of conspiracy theories, that one sticks out a lot. And then, obviously, because, Trump getting into office and him bringing it up, especially with, having RFK Jr. on his staff, JFK.
The assassination.
Yep.
It's weird because, like, I've seen videos about, like, the bullet trajectory, and it's just, like, it's no way.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things where it just seems kind of weird, and I always have the opinion myself that Johnson was behind it. That's kind of like, because it happened in Texas and Johnson was from Texas. So it's kind of like a big FU to like...
Didn't they release the files?
They've released a lot of the files. I mean, I haven't had a chance to look through it. I really need to. But they have released files. But again, even though they released files, how much of it's redacted? That's the real question.
I think a good chunk of it's redacted.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, we have papers, but it's heavily redacted, so you're still like, okay, it's kind of ends up being more of a nothing burger. Like, you're still left with, the questions you have are still unanswered.
Yeah, and then I don't know, like I've seen the short video, talking about the sniper where he was stationed or positioned at. And then they're like, yeah, the car's right here, sniper's right here. How can the bullet be straight in the forehead? And while he's also in a moving vehicle.
I mean, it's not an impossible shot, but it's definitely a difficult shot. Like hitting a moving target, it's not the easiest, especially if you're above ground. Like hitting stuff from above becomes a lot harder because you still have to deal with the concept of bullet drop.
Yeah.
So you obviously have to make adjustments for gravity, distance, wind,
right? Yeah.
Humidity, and all those factors play.
The guy was trained, wasn't he?
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, I forgot if he was or not.
He was in the military. He did have military service. And he had military training.
Okay.
But
I know the sniper that tried to assassinate Trump had zero training.
Yep.
Well,
that we know of.
Yeah, I guess that we know of.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I haven't seen much about the JFK stuff. I've only seen like a video or two,
which is kind of interesting because it also ties into Nixon. Apparently, there's another conspiracy theory. Is that part of the reason why Nixon basically had to leave office is he was digging into the JFK files and he wanted to find out what actually happened, and he was becoming vocal about it, which it's interesting because afterwards time has not been kind to Nixon.
Yeah.
Like at the time, if you look, he was actually one of the most popular presidents.
Yeah.
I mean, he did like a lot of the things, like, the EPA was started under the Nixon administration.
Right.
But, the whole thing with Watergate, I mean, not to say he didn't do these things, but at the same time, he was being set up. And, history's written by the victors.
Yeah.
And he lost huge, and like a lot of the people that are involved, starting with Robert Woodward, aka Deep Throat, was intelligence.
Yeah.
I think he was naval intelligence.
I see. Yeah. I mean, on the same topic of assassinations, I think this was also like a pretty big one at the time too. Do you think Trump's assassination attempt was also an inside job?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it's like the way it was like dead on, straight ahead. It was like there's no way.
It's not even, it's that, but the fact that he was able to get on the roof and be perched there for that long, and you're telling me that nobody noticed him. I mean, and there were people in the crowd that were telling Secret Service and police, security, that hey, there's somebody on the roof there.
Yeah, and then wasn't there like 2 other snipers like looking in that general
Exactly.
direction?
It's like, I'm sorry, how, there's no way that somebody like that, especially on a flat open roof like that,
Yeah.
with a rifle laying prone, is not going to be noticed. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like he's like, there's a roof, like an angled roof.
Yeah.
And he's hiding behind, like his body's laying flat behind over. It's just the rifle peeking
a
over.
little
So
harder
it's like,
to see.
So exactly. So basically, his whole body's not exposed, just the rifle, so he can obviously make the shot. No, it's a flat roof.
Yeah, you can see the whole body. And
It's like, the second sniping attempt. That one is obviously is weird. The guy was laying in the woods. Mm-hmm. So at least I give Secret Service a little bit of wiggle room because thankfully he got caught.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not as glaring for conspiracy theories. It's just one dude trying to.
Yeah.
So kind of like, I don't know, like how.
I mean, he was just golfing at the time too.
He was at the golf. Obviously he knew that Trump was going to be there that day. Mm-hmm. But the shooting in Pennsylvania.
And it's also, they let the guy have like multiple shots fired too.
Yep.
So it's like a trained professional wouldn't let that happen.
I think he got off 7 rounds.
Yeah.
And then the 8th round was the sniper team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy. They just kind of let 7 rounds go off.
Yeah. He panic fired.
Yeah.
So after the first round missed by, like you look at the ballistics and it was just by sheer luck that he missed.
Yeah, because like Trump...
He just turned his head at the right time, and instead of hitting him square in the head, it, just grazed his ear. Mm-hmm. This is why you don't go for headshots, go for center mass.
Yeah. Thank God Trump moves a lot.
Yeah, but...
When he talks.
But, he was going for a headshot. He wasn't going for center mass.
I'm just wondering, like, what if he did land the shot? Like, what would the U.S. be like today if he did land that shot?
If he did land the shot, there's been a lot of, like, people theorizing what would have happened. Some theories are like, it would put us in a civil war. Mm-hmm. There's other theories that's like, we would have moved on.
Yeah, I feel like the media would be talking about it, and then
one of the ideas like, Biden would give Biden a chance to say nice things about Trump, try to like unify the people, then maybe he was able to secure another term after that. Mm-hmm. Because it's kind of like,
this is for Trump type thing, or
more of the he's showing leadership and he's showing compassion. Maybe he's not so bad. But like, and then there's the other one where it's now, do you see, or is it this pure escalation? It's like, okay, you went after Trump. What's to stop you from going after any other, MAGA supporter, whatever, what have you? Mm-hmm. So the MAGA supporters become proactive and start retaliating against, the hard left.
I see. Yeah. It's a weird thing it's an interesting thing to think about if such events were to play out like that.
Yeah. Alternative history is always I do love theorizing and thinking about it, but there's certain things like this one, it's like,
this one can go either way.
It could go, exactly. And it only reason it scares me, it's not where I'm worried about myself. It's like, I'm just worried about you and your brother and like other people's children and stuff like that. And like, I've lived my life.
Yeah.
If I die, I die. It's not saying I look forward to dying, but at the same time, it's like, I lived a full life.
Yeah.
But that's like, it's not the world I want you to inherit, or your brother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd probably be a pretty scary world if that were to happen.
Yep. But in terms of happy conspiracy, I can't really think of anything happy.
The fun ones, like the moon landing was fake, but that was pretty debunked pretty easily.
Yeah, it wasn't faked.
Chuck E. Cheese pizzas were used or something.
What?
Yeah, that was like a conspiracy theory back then.
What was the conspiracy theory?
Like something about Chuck E. Cheese's pizza being like recycled. Like
it's not.
Would use.
No.
Yeah, some YouTuber made that popular.
Yeah, that YouTuber is an idiot.
Yeah.
I can tell you why I know this, because I used to work at Chuck E. Cheese when I was in high school, and I worked in the kitchen.
I mean,
unless they change it from when I worked there, and this, obviously this was like over 30 years ago. When I was there, we made the dough from scratch. So like on the weekend, like when summer was out, I would be at the restaurant at 6 a.m. preparing the dough for the day. Yeah, because we had to proof the dough.
I see. So it's always fresh.
Yeah, every day the dough was fresh.
I see.
Obviously the tomato sauce was out of a can.
Right.
And the cheese and everything else is like whatever. I mean, the cheese was kind of weird because it was like these little they're kind of like Dippin' Dots, but it was cheese.
Interesting. Yeah,
it was just mozzarella and cheddar.
I've never heard of that.
But like the vegetables were all fresh. Like I would take. I remember taking fresh bell peppers and putting them through a little press where it came out and it was just all little cubes.
Oh, I see. Yeah, like a dicer type thing.
Like we had fresh mushrooms and everything. Like everything else. Like the only things that we didn't handle by ourselves was like tomato sauce, which was out of a can. The olives were out of a can. But everything else, onions, mushrooms, bell peppers, bacon was obviously out of a package. We didn't make bacon from scratch, obviously. But in terms of the vegetables, all the other standard vegetables outside the olives was delivered fresh. Like it was all fresh produce.
I see. Yeah, I mean, people thought it was reused or like recycled from other older customers' pizzas.
No, it's because once a customer left, we threw out that pizza.
Yeah. But like people are like, the cuts are uneven, or like the pepperoni slices are like smaller than that's the slice next to it, type shit. I don't know what to say about that. Like, let's say there's like a big pepperoni piece on this pizza, but then like the one connecting to the same pepperoni piece is like a little smaller, in width. I guess that's where people got like the whole Chuck E. Cheese.
As far as at least, like I said, as far as I know, at least since when I worked there, everything was fresh.
Yeah. Let's see. I have like a whole list of fun ones because I'm not aware of a lot of conspiracy theories nowadays besides the whole like Trump assassination thing. Actually, no, there is one that I like to believe in. There's this theory that the life we're living right now is the supposed life flashing before our eyes when we're dying.
I've heard this theory, and it's interesting because basically, and part of the premise is it's all because of CERN. Basically, something happened with CERN, and the world blew up. So there's two theories to this.
Yeah.
When both I find fascinating. One is the one you're saying is like basically we're basically on a big DMT trip right now.
Yeah.
And we're just. The other theory is that the world we knew was destroyed, and we were put into an alternative reality.
Oh, like 2012 type thing.
Like well, it's basically what's causing the whole idea of the Mandela effects. That's why people remember. Like there's certain Mandela effects. I kid you not. I remember, like example, like the Fruit of the Loom logo. I remember a cornucopia.
I think I did too.
Like I specifically remember a cornucopia. The Berenstain Bears, again, that spelling is like, I remember it was an E, not an A.
I think there was one like Sex in the City, but it's like Sex and the City.
That one's kind of funny. I always thought it was Sex in the City as well, but then I had to work on the ad campaign for Sex in the City for the movie. And it's like, I've been saying it wrong the whole time.
Oh, I see. So it's not like
I mean, for me, I know. I think I wasn't so invested in it, so I didn't really think much about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sex in the City kind of makes more sense, but Sex in the City also makes sense as well.
Yeah. I mean, another big one's like, did Pikachu have a black tip on his tail?
I think he did.
Really?
Yeah. I like with the little...
Yeah. The black tip.
Yep. I again, Mandela effect, I think Pikachu. Like, I remember him having a black tip on his tail. I don't remember it being all yellow.
I think I remember I drew Pikachu at my drawing class, and they had a black tip on his tail.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so he had a black tip on his tail. But
Yeah.
I watched a video about it. He's like, he never had a black one. I was
Yeah.
like, excuse me?
Exactly. It's like, I remember Pikachu with black tip.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that theory is fascinating, to say the least. It's not a happy one. It's kind of sad when you think about how the whole world ended and we got shifted. Either A, we're living one big DMT trip, or B, we got put into an alternative reality. And I think we make jokes about that. It's like, oh, we shifted realities again.
Yeah, here and there we do.
Yeah, it's like, I don't remember people being this bad of drivers, and like, I want to go back to my old reality.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I saw this theory recently. There was like the doctors noticed that the patient had died.
Mm-hmm.
But then she came back to life later on. But she died, and then they saw that her brain was very active in that state, and it was reminiscent to when your brain's dreaming.
Yeah.
So that's how the doctors concluded that, like, oh, this is how your life flashes before your eyes, because we think the brain's projecting all of your memories into an 8-minute little video.
Yeah, and I think what it is, and I think medicine has shown this, is basically when you die, your brain just releases a flood of DMT.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not familiar with what DMT does, you'll see a bunch of shit when you're on DMT.
Yeah.
And it like that amount of DMT that's rushing through your head, I have no doubt that you'll start seeing things like the whole idea of like your life flashing before your eyes.
Yeah.
Or like seeing loved ones or everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting because like you think about like this, when you are dreaming, in the dream you could have felt like you were in there for like hours on end, and then you're like, oh no, I was only asleep for a couple minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that happened to me last night.
Yeah.
It felt like a really long dream.
And that's the same
dream.
thing. It's like where you could have like a whole thing happen. Like one of my favorite episodes of Black Mirror with the video game.
There was a lot of video game ones.
The one specifically is with Kurt Russell's son. Where he's doing like this like augmented reality game where he's like
house?
Yeah, he's in the house.
Yeah.
And then when they get to the end, they're like, oh, how long was he in for? And there was like a couple seconds.
Yeah, but it made it seem like he was in there for like 20 minutes.
No, he was in there for like over a day.
Or a day. Was it a day?
Yeah, it was like a whole day.
Oh, okay. But it was only like a couple seconds.
He was only in there for a couple seconds.
Mm-hmm. That was like a horror episode, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's interesting. There was also this other theory. I guess it's like, it kind of touches on religion, like what happens after death. But there's this other theory where like when you're dying, you see like this light, and like you see the light and stuff.
Mm.
People think like when you see the light, it's your mind being transported into another life. So like a baby coming out.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the whole idea of Buddhism and the reincarnation.
Right.
Basically, yeah. You're transitioning from one life to the next, and we talked about it in a previous episode where I was, I think it was our first episode actually, where I was saying that you only live this life once.
Yeah. So it's like,
and no matter what your belief is, that part's absolutely true. You only live this life once.
Yeah, you only live it once. And then like, yeah, in terms of like religion, it's, from what I've seen, it plays out pretty differently in like each religion. Like Buddhism is like reincarnation.
Yep.
I think Christianity and Catholics is like heaven and hell.
Yeah, you don't come back. You either go to heaven or you go to hell.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the other ones.
It's funny you bring up hell. For a long time, I always had this idea that maybe this is hell.
What, living life?
Yeah, I mean just life in general. Like this whole is like the whole idea of like we living in a simulation, like simulation theory. But it's like for most people overall, life is hard.
Yeah,
it's not. I mean, in any time, like every time you feel like you're getting, at least for myself, like every time I feel like I'm getting ahead or like things are going positive, I get knocked with something.
I feel like a lot of people feel that.
Yeah.
Like with me, I always think like, oh, life's going good.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think something's gonna happen.
Exactly. And it's one of those things like, so when you die, it's kind of like living a video game. Like, okay, how did you do? It's like that episode of Rick and Morty when they're playing that one video game where they're like living this dude's life.
I don't remember that episode.
I forget the name of the person that they're supposed to be, but he goes into combat and he runs a carpet shop. He has cancer and all, like Roy, that's the guy's name. Like, and then like it starts with Morty living Roy's life, and then at the end when he gets killed in the carpet shop, he comes back and he's like, "What?" Oh,
I don't remember that. I don't even know if I've seen that episode.
It's a funny episode. Yeah. I mean, it's like the first part. Like, they just go to this arcade, and he lives a life of Roy, and then Rick goes in there, and he's like, he goes off script. He's like, oh, he's running away. He's like, he trolls Morty. He's like, I can't believe after you survived cancer, you went back to the carpet store.
Oh my god.
But yeah, it's like, so it's like when you die, it's kind of like, okay, you see where you did, and then okay, where did I place?
Yeah.
Do I get to get out of this, or do I have to go back?
It's like similar to what I depict hell as. I don't depict hell as like this place that's always on fire with demons and shit. My version of hell is like you live through your nightmares. Like, let's say you live through your PTSD pretty much, and you have to conquer those trauma that you've endured in order to move towards heaven.
Yeah.
So you live through your worst parts of your life, and then once you fully accept it or moved on or grow from it, then you're one step closer to heaven. Yeah. That's how I depict hell. I don't know if that's really is how. I'll never know until I die.
Yeah.
So, and then like, it's also like, okay, if heaven and hell exist, then how do ghosts exist?
Oh, I have a theory about that. I obviously I believe ghosts are real because I've had a lot of experiences.
I'm still a skeptic. I mean, I've had experiences, but I'm still a skeptic.
But I think ghosts, both active and passive haunts, is time intersecting.
Would you say the same thing for demons?
I think demons are just bad people.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely believe evil exists. I've definitely seen evil firsthand. But, like, in terms of ghosts and stuff, I feel like I'm looking at it from, like...
We also had, like, a Winchester experience, too.
Yep. But I think it's time intersecting. Because I'm of the opinion, I think I'm not alone in this, is, like, all time is happening all at once. So, like, future or past and everything has already happened.
Like Loki.
I guess. But I think when you encounter a ghost, especially if you're able to communicate with it, I think it's just like a quantum phenomenon where it's just time is overlapping.
So you think like maybe a certain, like someone's atoms have temporarily
it's just
shifted
it's not atoms shifting or anything like that. It's just basically dimensions colliding.
I see.
Because obviously we can't perceive the fourth dimension. We can only perceive three dimensions, like fourth dimension, fifth dimension. So I think it's where it's like time, like basically different timelines are colliding, and not like in a cast. It's in a passive way. Where you're able to communicate with somebody in the future or somebody in the past. I mean, obviously, there's no way to substantiate my hypothesis.
Yeah.
I mean, if I could find a example of, like, if we had a ghost in this house that we could talk to that's saying they're from X period, we could say, oh, well, could you leave something here, and then we could test the theory. But can't test that theory.
I wouldn't want to test that theory.
I actually would want to test that theory.
What if you invite something sinister?
You're not inviting. You're just telling them to leave something somewhere.
But you're acknowledging their presence.
If you're already talking to it, you've already acknowledged their presence.
Yeah. And then see that with that, you've invited something Sinister, potentially.
Okay, so you're saying we're gonna let Pazuzu in?
That's how demons work, too.
Okay.
You know.
Well, I'm not asking them for fame and fortune.
I guess.
I'm just saying, hey, what year is it? And you're saying it's X year. It's like, okay.
I mean, Reagan thought she was talking to her dead dad, but turns out it was a demon.
Okay.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
And the little girl from Ouija, too. She thought she was talking to her dad, but turns out it was just a demon.
But we're not communicating through Ouija board.
Oh, I guess not, yeah.
We're not doing like my favorite, like the Japanese equivalent of Ouija is kokori-san. Kokori-san. Kokori-san.
Yeah. Okay, I guess if we're not talking through a board.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think that was fun.
But in terms of like passive haunts, I think those are just echoes, like time echoes.
Like the Force.
Not like the Force, but just like this energy trapped in time is just reverberating.
I see. So like, if you see something in the corner of your eye type thing, like a...
No, it's more like if example of these, someone saying, "Oh, I hear this voice at the same time every day,"
I see.
and they're always saying the same exact thing. So that would be considered a passive haunt. So it's not actually interacting with you. It's just basically like a tape running on repeat.
I see.
And I think that's just energy. It's just basically a energy ripple. It's just something trapped in time. It's just repeating.
How about for like people you know that died but are still interacting with you? Like, let's say a loved one passed away, but you know it's the loved one interacting with you from the spirit realm in terms of like scent or like certain things moving around that they used to touch a lot.
That one's a tricky one. And that, definitely. I mean, I remember when my grandfather passed away. It was the day we were going to his funeral, and I wouldn't know this because I didn't see him. It was my dad's father. I didn't really have a huge relationship with my grandfather. Not to say I didn't love him, but I think the whole span of my life, so since I was born and up till when he passed away, I think he passed away when I was like 12 or 13. I think I've maybe seen him like 5 times.
Damn.
Throughout my life. So, but my dad, obviously he grew up with him, and my aunt as well, and they both swear the day we were going to the funeral, they could smell his cologne in the hotel room.
Yeah. I mean, I've had something similar too. When my mom's old boyfriend passed away. I think it was like a day after he passed. When I was walking down the block, I swore I saw him. And then the moment he, went towards the corner, disappeared. When I get to that corner, it smelled like cigarettes.
But there was nobody there smoking.
There was no one there. And I was like, he did smoke a lot of cigarettes. And the drip that this person was wearing was like the same exact clothing. And he was bald. So, he was a bald guy wearing like really baggy, ruggedy t-shirt, shorts, and smoking. I was like, that has to be him. Disappeared. Smelled like cigarettes. I'm like, damn. I'm like, that was weird.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's other times. My mom's apartment, the lamp, or like the light shade thing.
Oh, yeah, I remember
dropped. And I was like, how did this drop? There's screws in there. Someone would have to like unscrew it.
And this was like shortly after he died, too.
This was also shortly after he died. So the light cover dropped, shattered, and then I checked it out. I was like, there's screws in there, and I was like, there's no way this could have fallen by itself. Someone had to have tampered with it, unscrew it. But when the thing dropped, I shouted, "Shut the fuck up!" And then nothing happened after that.
Yeah.
The whole paranormal stuff ceased.
Yeah.
So I think he got the memo and moved on to heaven. So, his soul is not trapped in the house anymore.
Yeah.
I somehow cleansed the house by saying, shut the fuck up.
The house is clean.
It was clean.
Yeah.
Still is, I think. I hope.
Yeah.
But, that's all for me.
Yeah, it's all for me. I mean, I think this is now officially our longest episode.
Yeah, it's getting longer and longer by the episode.
We should probably just shut up.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think we yap a lot.
We do. But we hope you enjoy our yapping. I mean, that's why you're here, right?
Exactly. Podcasts, that's what they typically do.
Yeah.
It's what you signed up for.
Yeah, I mean, we had a bit of a slow start this episode, but I think...
Was it slow?
A little slow, but we ramped up pretty quick.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's getting... As the flow is getting better each episode, though, compared to, like, the first one.
Oh, no, I'm just talking about this episode in particular.
Oh, yeah.
It started a little slow. I mean, our past episodes, I hope they're pretty good. I mean, I watched a few already. And...
I mean, they're good, but I think the flow is definitely improved since then. But that's for y'all to decide.
Yeah. And with that, make sure to like and subscribe.
That's right. Don't forget the bell. That's very important to me.
Ring-a-ding-ding.
All
and,
right.
yeah.
I'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.
Later.